The River Jordan, a very, very important site. Supposedly the site where Jesus was baptized. This should interest anybody who's been a Baptist or a Christian or whatever. Jesus came from Galilee. He went to John at the River Jordan, or at the Jordan River, to be baptized by him. They want you to believe that the River Jordan up here is in Israel, in Jerusalem, all the way over there, where they're having all these issues right now. But did you know that there was a River Jordan here in the United States? Did you know that Rio Jordan was sought after by some of the first people who came upon the shores? They knew it existed here. It was talked about by the Indians. Some like the Chickasaw Indians. This map comes from the East Bay River in Florida. East Bay River, but was called Jordan at one point. The history of it says, or the River Jordan. Well, I've been reading the letter of Hernando de Soto in 1539 to be exact. And these were the first people who stepped upon the shores of the Americas that were Spaniards. Not no Christopher Columbus, but these were the first people, him and people in his expedition. If you want to read the book, you can read the book, and that kind of gives you some things, but these are the words from them translated. And right here, just as a main footnote, they talk about how, these words are small, on the margin of the original are points made by the hands of Herrera, who doubtless drew on this for that part about the River Jordan, which he says was sought by Ponce de Leon. Now I can keep going further, because all throughout the book you got things like the Jordan that is talked of is a superstition of the Indians of Cuba, which they hold to be true because it is their creed, not because there is such a river. So they would try to downplay it, but it was still looking for it, because they say Juan Ponce de Leon, giving heed of the tale of the Indians of Cuba and Santo Domingo, went to Florida in search of the River Jordan. Okay, so he trying to find it. Why? Because they thought it was a fountain of youth, to be honest with you, but continuously, who, to satisfy their tradition, said that the Jordan was in Florida. Okay, Jordan in Florida, River Jordan, and it continues many times. I can show you screenshot after screenshot all through this letter. Juan Ponce de Leon went to Florida to find the River Jordan. And here's some more things where they're talking about the Spaniards. Thither says that they landed at a river they call Jordan, to the east of the province of Florida. Okay, to the east of the province of Florida, which doesn't put this map too far off. Getting closer again, this supposedly is that River Jordan. But they want you to think this Jordan River is over here. Now I'm talking about the book of Hernando de Soto. You'll find a lot of De Soto mile marker signs or historic marker signs all around the United States because of this expedition that I'm reading. But you also notice that he was here when the mound builders was here, and I can get further into that, but I got videos about that. But this shows that the Indians, the people that he came upon, were the mound builders, and they were also looking for the, fountain of youth, or the River Jordan. And if you know me, I'm gonna cross-reference with many other things, okay? Never just one thing, multiple things. And so what I have here in the Library of Congress is a map that says it's the location of the Indian tribes 1492, and it's a cumulative map of different expeditions and what they found and how they labeled it. But the main thing that you'll point and notice to here, that I point and notice at right here, sorry, my brain's fried this morning, is when you get closer, it says the mound builders. Remember, De Soto was here when the mound builders was here, right? We're also reading the letter where they're talking about the River Jordan through De Soto and Juan Ponce de Leon. He's talking about him. So when we come to a thing talking about the mound builders in the Library of Congress, we've connected some dots. But even here, so it says they are supposed to have been the descendants of the people from the Tower of Babel after confusion of tongues. But it also says they are supposed to have been one of the wandering tribes of Israel. One of the wandering tribes of Israel are the mound builders. De Soto was here when the mound builders were here. Also, in the book of De Soto, he talks about this. The other one was the letter. This is the book, the history of Hernando de Soto. The other one was the letter of Hernando de Soto. But in the history of Hernando de Soto, they got different voyages before you get to Hernando de Soto's voyage. And one voyage was by Juan de Gravajalla. And he talks about when he got to the Florida coast or whatever from Santo Domingo, Cuba. He says that others again went as so far to affirm that the inhabitants of these countries were the descendants of the Jews, whom Titus and Vespasian had driven from Jerusalem. Is that a coincidence, or do you know that your boy got more sources to connect? Because you can go to this Wikipedia thing right here, and it tells you about a list of biblical names and places. I think I got this from Gaddy. Your boy Gaddy don't miss, but he ain't said that in a while. But in Rhode Island, you have Galilee. I bet a lot of you all didn't know Galilee was in Rhode Island. Why is that important? Because Jesus came from Galilee. He went to Jordan River, where he was baptized. Why is that important? Galilee is also here. And when you select the Galilee that's here, it tells you it's a fishing village on the point of whatever near the town of the Narragansett. Narragansetts are Indians. It was a huge Indian tribe up in Rhode Island. But further down, you'll see the villages directly across the harbor from Jerusalem. Didn't Jesus have something to do with Jerusalem? Right? So we got Galilee here and we have Jerusalem here. Right here, Jerusalem, Rhode Island is a fishing village, right? They're trying to tie it to the whole fish thing. You might think it's just crazy or a coincidence, but this is the history they tell you on how it got its name. The village received its name in 1902. The story goes, Thomas Mann, a fisherman of Nova Scotia who settled there, felt the village had sprung up with its fishing shacks should be called Galilee, after the fishing village of biblical times. One day, an old-timer sat on the docks, repairing his nets, when a stranger called out to him, "Where am I?" The answer was, "Galilee." "And what is that?" the stranger asked, pointing to the other side of the channel. The old-timer thought for a minute, nodded his head, and replied, "Must be Jerusalem." And so the name was Galilee and Jerusalem, and have been since the note. So, I mean, you already know that they lying about this. But then you also have to think that the Israel that's actually over there was founded 1948. That's not even time to put it anywhere near this timeline. And on top of that, you got to think about this. If this map came from, it said 1492, but I think this map was like established in like the 1800s. It's in the Library of Congress in the 1800s. So that means in the 1800s, they at least knew that the word Israel and the place Israel existed. But it didn't get so-called founded until this time. And then all of a sudden you got Jerusalem there, you got the River Jordan there, you got Israel, you got the West Bank and all that. Meanwhile, they've been pushing them other people out. So you tell me, which River Jordan came first? Which one came first means that's the one that your boy was baptized in. That's why it's important. If we can establish that this one came first, because why was they here looking for it? Just coincidence? Juan Ponce de Leon, yeah, I just heard about this so-called river. I don't know if it's true or not. And apparently there's going to be another one created like 400 years from now in another area. But I heard about this one. But that one is where Jesus had his baptism. But I don't know what's going on. No, you know what's going on. You know damn sure what's going on. They playing. Oh yeah, and as you can see by my boy Gaddy, they say that the E1B1A haplogroup is found as a marker in Hebrew ancestry. People with Hebrew ancestry. He ain't playing, I ain't playing, but they be playing.